Hey guys, Bob Brennaman here. I'm a realtor in Charleston, South Carolina, and today I'm finally getting around to cutting a video. I had a client on the other side of the world who's emailed me these questions that I'm going to go over, but these questions regarding alligators. I would say it's probably the top question I get besides flooding, that people wanting to understand what floodplains are. But today we're going to tackle her questions to me, and I'm going to share them with you in an Ask Bob video. So her question was, could you tell me what it's like living with alligators on the island? So she's considering Daniel Island, which is an island by rivers. You've got the Wando River on one side and the Cooper River on the other side. So it's not a beach island. But I would say the answer I'm going to give, and as we go through these questions she had sent me, are going to be reflective of whether you're buying in Mount Pleasant, Daniel Island, the beach islands, Isle of Palms or Sullivan's, or even if you're out in James and John's Island, considering real estate and you have this concern about alligators. First of all, I will say that the alligators here in the South are anti-saltwater. They are freshwater alligators. I know there's probably parts of the world, there are parts of the world where you have alligators that are, they like freshwater and like saltwater. The ones here do not. So you will see them around the ponds, the water retention ponds. A lot of these neighborhoods, are set up to drain, which helps with flooding. Not to get into that video, but so there's these water retention ponds, and you will see at certain times of the year some of the alligators laying around that. What I will say, in the 30 years I've lived here, I have seen way less in the last couple of years, last 3 or 4 years. Even in the spring when you generally see them out laying on the banks. We don't see them as much. I know I have some acquaintances who they're basically licenses to go out and hunt these alligators. So there's some thinning out of the population. That I don't know if that has something to do with me seeing less. Probably some of it's due to that. Some of it's due to the fact that as you developed, I think the alligators don't like all the noise, so they try to get away from there. And she'd also question, since it's surrounded by marsh and alligators everywhere, and I think that's, kind of saying they're not everywhere, but they are in certain spots, and you need to be careful with kids and dogs. Yes and no. I mean, I think, my boys now are 13. When we moved to the neighborhood we're living in now, they were 3. And we had these types of ponds that you do see the alligators around our house, lots of them. And as they were, growing up 3, 4, 5 years old, I would always make sure that they, just were aware. I think it's a good opportunity to teach them about, I always tell my kids, keep your head on a swivel, no matter anything in life, really. Just, be aware of what's around you. So, I was always in their ear, that be aware that they could be there. Don't be scared of them because they're not there to hurt you. They're there because they live there. So over the years, I've never had any issues. I mean, I can say if you Googled alligators in Mount Pleasant, you're going to see probably a couple of videos, and one of them I think from a buddy of mine that put up one where an alligator got up on the porch and one where an alligator got in their swimming pool. That is few and far between. That just rarely happens. But it's it's a legitimate question that a lot of people have as far as this goes. And she went on to ask, can you even go in the water at all, or do you need to be on a boat and not even walk in and launch a kayak? Getting back to what I said earlier, the alligators do not like salt water. So the creeks and rivers in the areas that I mainly work, Daniel Island, Mount Pleasant, the beach islands, and the rivers and the creeks around it are saltwater. So heavily salted. I mean, sometimes it depends on where you are in the creek or the river. There can be, 3 to, 7 or 8 foot tide swing, a couple of times a day, depending on the tides. The alligators don't like that. They don't want to be in that salt water, basically. The bigger concern I always throw out there is that my concern being in the creeks and rivers and swimming in them and kayaking in them, whatever you want to do, we tube with the kids during the season, is sharks, because you see dolphin. You see a lot of dolphin in the creeks, and so if the dolphin are there, we know that sharks are there as well. So I don't know if that alleviates concern for anybody who's watching this video, including my client. But I don't really have concern about alligators. I think that they're again, if you're not from here and you read a lot of stuff, and obviously if you have kids and you have pets, it's something you think about. I know I have over the years and raising my kids here. But I think I would put it super low on my list of things that I would be concerned about. Definitely can get out and kayak in the creeks and rivers around the houses. The water retention ponds, certainly. Will you see them occasionally? Like I said at the beginning of the video, yes, you will. Those water retention ponds, kids don't really, you don't want to go swimming in them. They don't look attractive to swim in anyway. I would say if you bought a house and it backed up to one of these water retention ponds, not a creek or a river, because that's different, but a water retention pond that had mainly freshwater in it, I'd certainly put up a fence. I think that would just be, smart business. More so for my dogs, honestly, or my cat. I don't have a cat, but if I did have a cat, more for them that would be concerned about an alligator getting my kids. So it's, again, it's something that super common. People have major concern about that and flooding. But I would say alligators would be very, very low on my list of things to be concerned about if I was moving here and, didn't know anything about the area. Again, my name's Bob Brennaman. I'm happy to talk to you about anything. And if y'all have questions, you want to post them on my YouTube channel or you want to email them to me, whatever. I love to talk about Charleston. I love to answer these questions, to be honest with you, because it helps hopefully educate you guys who are watching this and maybe makes my job a little easier when we work together. So anyway, thanks for watching. You can follow me by clicking in the right-hand corner of the screen to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will look forward to speaking with y'all someday. Bye-bye.